I didn't see you there. Hey, what's up? It's Whiskey Wednesday with Dave. I'm drinking a little Suntory. In fact, I killed that bottle. Look at that. Ooh-wee. That's all gone. Suntory's all gone, folks. What is it for Suntory time? Right? If you know, you know. Bill Murray. Okay, how are we doing, everybody? Let me get over to the comments. What's up? It's Whiskey Wednesday. Hopefully, all y'all out there are pouring yourself a drink, perhaps saddling up to the old laptop or the phone and tuning in with me, joining me for a drink. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in today. If you are on Facebook, there's a chance I can't see you when you comment. So if you want to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, I think you can just say, yeah, give them permission. And all that means is I can see your name when you comment in here because I'm using a different type of platform. So feel free to go ahead and do that. And post what you're drinking today. Doc Chills, time to get the Fortizella out, Dave. Oh, geez. Here we go. Whiskey or tequila? What's best? Hey, Jeff, how you doing? Good evening, everybody. Great to see everyone tuning in. Ooh, Jeff, a little Eagle Rare. Not bad, not bad. Good stuff for sure. Like I said, I just killed a bottle of Suntory whiskey. This is kind of the cheaper stuff, but it's Japanese whiskey. For those that don't know, Japan makes some really great whiskey, largely because they sent actually all of their children over to learn from the Scots, and then they went back over and built distilleries and did it better in certain cases. So anyway, so good stuff today. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I see a lot of people talking about the unboxing. We are going to get there very soon. That's basically the main event tonight. We've even got some people over in Melbourne, Australia. Oh, Stuart, nice for tuning in. Thanks a lot. So it's good to see everybody here. And yeah, Lisa, I see you say you can't see anyone's comment. It might be that you see some Facebook comments, but that's it. But who knows? I don't know. I can see the comment, Lisa, and that's what counts. So write what you're drinking, share with us what you're having, whether it's water, Pepsi, coffee, tea, whatever it is. Slan Javad to all of you out there. My name is Dave. For those that don't know, I'm the owner of Paverson Games, designer of Distilled, co-designer of Luthier. Tonight, we are going to unbox Luthier. I've got it right next to me here. I've got a little camera spitting down, so hopefully that works too. We'll see how that goes. First, I just want to talk a little bit about a couple details. Let's see here. I better share my screen. How do I do this? Okay, share screen. Share screen. There, it's going to be like a full on, but hopefully you can see. Yeah, there it is. A couple things. First off, I'm going to be going to UK Games Expo, and that is next week, believe it or not, everybody. UK Games Expo is from Friday. It's just a Friday, Saturday, Sunday show. So unlike us in the States, they just do it. They pack it all in 9 to 6 p.m. For 4 days straight. I'm going to have a booth. Really excited about that. Hope you all can join me. If you're over there, stop by stand 1726. We've got Luthier and Distilled running every 90 minutes. You can come by for a quick demo. You could also get there right away at the beginning of the day and sign up and reserve a spot, a 90-minute spot for it's just you. You can show right up. We've got the seat reserved for you. So I definitely consider coming out to that. A couple other things too. As some of you saw, we got a bunch of Luthier boxes in. So I'm really excited to be able to show you one of those, open that up today. Why we have so many is we're sending it to content creators all around the world. I'll talk a little bit about that as well. And we have lots of different sides of the box too. So we really have tried to do as much as we could ahead of time for this Kickstarter, knowing that you all want to see kind of what this product's going to look like. Let me stop sharing my screen. Stop screen. There we go. And so, that's why we're doing that. And tonight, that's what it's going to be all about. Real quick before I dive in, looks like we've got some, oh, hey, Jamie's in having some Australian whiskey. Nice. We got some gin as well. So Republic of Cascadia having some gin. Let's see. Oh, there's a storm coming through, Jeff. So hopefully everything sticks around and everything, the power stays on too. So keep on commenting. I'll put some stuff up here every so often. And we'll be able to see what some of the things people are having today. Doc Chill's having a little bit of fruit sour beer. Ooh, interesting. Nice. So good stuff. Good stuff. So we're going to move on here. We're going to go to the main event. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through a full unboxing. What this essentially is, again, is a reminder to everybody out there, this is a prototype. So a prototype means that It is not officially been manufactured by the thousands at a factory. What this means is we're still going to change some stuff. In fact, today I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the things I think we're already thinking about changing. Not the gameplay. Gameplay is pretty much in the bag. We're going to be showing that off, obviously, at UK Games Expo. We have our Discord that we play games all the time. I've got a game Friday that I'm running on Tabletop Simulator that you can come in and join our Discord. So again, lots of fun stuff there too. But a prototype, I want to emphasize again, means that there's still changes to be made. It's kind of fun for all of you because you get to kind of see that evolution. If I could go back in time and show you the prototype at this time of Distilled, 2 months before the Kickstarter, it was a very different game than the game you might have on your table or your shelf. And that's the beauty of this process is I love to involve all you, get your feedback, especially when you get a chance to play it, see it in person, give some of that feedback then for sure. Sometimes when you see it here, you can't really tell for sure, but definitely when you get a chance to see it at the table. So let's dive in. Let's see if I can figure this out here. We're going to add this to the stage. There we go. Let's make that a little bigger. Oops, wrong one. There we go. Okay. Now, this is going to be an above shot. Let me turn this light on too. Hopefully that'll help a little bit. That's my hairy arm. Sorry about that, everyone. Okay, good. You see my whiskey here too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through each part of the process. It's not going to be the same as if you saw it in person. I'm going to try my best to kind of hold things up here and hopefully it stays in focus as what, in fact, maybe what I'll do in a second, I'll make these equal size so we can kind of get some detail shots too, because there's really, unless I'm moving around with my cell phone and getting all shaky, this is kind of the best way to do that. So sometimes it might not focus, but we'll hope it does a pretty good job here. So with that, let's get started. And Doc Chills has a question. Anytime anyone has a question, feel free to put something in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer that question for you. This is a great chance to be able to interact with me. I love to hear questions from you. So Doc Chills asks, assuming this is what we'll be using demo at GemCon. Probably. There's a good chance, because I'm sending these out, I'd like to get some fresh, brand new prototypes that actually have some more art finished, because this was produced, this one there was produced a couple weeks, well, about a month ago. We sent the art in about a month and a half ago. So since then, Vincent's made a lot more artwork too. So I think we'll probably see a little bit more from that as well. Ooh, Jamie's got a great question. What's the official box size? Oh, this is a great opportunity. Where's my darn measuring tape? Oh, man. Well, here, let me give you an idea of what that box size is like. So here's Luthier. Here's Distilled. Oh, look, it's like its baby brother. Oh, it's so cute. It's such a cute little thing. Distilled. And now it's all grown up and it's Luthier. Hi, I'm Luthier. I make instruments, not whiskey. I make whiskey. So you can see that the box size is definitely bigger. It's about almost exactly the same size as a Lacerda box. So for those that know that, let me get out my Lisboa. So Lisboa, Luthier. I am not going to claim that Luthier is a better game than Lisboa. That's why I'm putting Lisboa on top. So that's about the box size. If I had my ruler out, I'd give it to you exactly, because I don't want to spout off a number that's wrong and then I'm incorrect too. But that gives you an idea of the sizes. Let's look at it on its tip and on its end. So you can see, as far as, let's see if I can get this right under thickness goes, Luthier is bigger as well. Now, you're going to see when I open this thing up, it does not need to be this big right now. But what I want to show you is this is going to be kind of the example of what it's going to be like as the deluxe edition with trays, inserts and trays. We're not doing stretch goals this time, people, with trays. We're doing trays right out of the gate. We're going to have custom trays for you in the deluxe edition for sure to keep all your bits and bobs separate. And then we'll just do one on the side. Since it's still square, I won't need to worry about doing that. So again, you can see the height of Luthier as well is a little bit taller, or definitely a lot taller than Distilled too. What this means too is that it does definitely fit on a calyx, but it's obviously not going to be able to fit any which way. You're going to have to kind of just slide it in like that, and it's going to go. Otherwise, you can prominently display it at the top of your calyx as well. I'm going to put this sucker back real quick. Let's take a look at each side here really quick. So the top, let's see how close I can get here. The top is just absolutely gorgeous. So Vincent, what he did was he wanted to recreate some different characters. Stradivari is known as kind of one of the fathers of Luthier, especially in the violin. We, of course, don't have any official photographs at all of Stradivari hundreds of years ago. We have a handful of different paintings. This is Vincent's depiction of Stradivari. I think it's just phenomenal. Here is a young Beethoven as well, wearing that scarf that we know and love. Right below him is Clara Schumann playing. Sorry, I'm trying to get that angle right. Playing the piano. And I'm not going to go further down because it'll knock over my thing, but I'll turn it this way. You can see, of course, beautiful handwork. That was something that actually my wife suggested, having hands on it to really kind of make you feel like you are the one working on it. You can see faintly some people working on cellos and scroll work too. So the front is just phenomenal. It really blew me away as far as what he's done. I think maybe one of his best covers ever. It's not your traditional cover, right? It's got a little bit more interest and sophistication, which is what we go for with Favors and Games. Real quick on the sides. Whoops. This side features. Sorry, I got to kind of look at this too. This side features a harpsichord from the game, as well as a timpani drum, and the logo too. So again, this is artwork from the game as well, from cards in the game. The top is fairly simple. Just the extension of the violin you can see there. The other side is, of course, so that you can kind of store it on the top of your shelf if you want to, and have it stacked kind of like I had with Lisboa. Oh, you didn't see that, but I have all my Lacerda games in a row. So again, there if we get close, that's Mozart, and then Caccini, who is a famous lutist. And then the bottom is kind of trademark Favors and Games. We did it with Distilled, and a lot of people like that, so I'm doing it again with Luthier. It's just straight up Luthier. That's it. So that'll look really nice if you stack a Distilled and Luthier on top of each other as well. So yeah, really excited about the box. Again, I want to emphasize this is a prototype, which means that when you see me open, actually, let me show you the back. Look at this amazing back, everyone. Oh, wow. All right, so that's when you know it's a prototype, because we don't have the box back yet. We're not selling this. This is not for sale yet, but soon all of you are going to be able to get this for yourself. We're going to do a lot of different fun stuff. I'm not going to talk about all that today. That'll probably be next month's Whiskey Wednesday. I'll start talking about some of the deluxe add-ons that we're going to have with us. But I'm going to let you know we've got a lot of fun stuff planned. All right, let's open this box, huh? Oh, real quick, let's take a look here. Oh, and look, we got Abe joining in. Abe is the co-designer for Distilled. Abe's having a Bowmore 12. Ooh, good one, Abe. I've been to Bowmore on Isla. Delicious stuff. So you can see kind of there. Abe and I co-designing along with Vincent there too. Of course, we've got other all-stars on this team too. We're working with Matt Paquette and company for the graphic design. Have been for the last year and a half. Working with David Digby and Richard Woods on the solo mode. Working with Richard Woods to do the development for the game as well. We've got Kevin Yo doing all the history of the game, the music history. Seth Barrier is doing the scripting for Tabletop Simulator. Cody Reimer's doing the rules editing. The list goes on and on. So really, really exciting stuff. I love having a whole team kind of work on this stuff. And it really shows I can't do all those things, but I know I can surround myself with people who are pretty expert at that area. So let's do it. Taking a sip, and let's open it up. So when we open it up, like I said, this is the box size that will be for the deluxe. That will have all of the stuff, and it will be stuffed full of trays and other fun goodies too. So for today, though, it's going to be like, wah, wah, wah. It's not going to be looking that great because of the fact that it's just the components themselves, but not necessarily the trays, if that makes sense. For the trays, I'll talk about very quickly. We're going to have a variety of different trays. We'll have individual player trays. We're going to have some more general resource trays. We're going to have, of course, a base tray for cards as well. So lots of different opportunities to be able to store things in the hopes that you can kind of set up and tear down fast. Now, first, I'm going to see if I can just take that chair out of the way. There we go. Tilt this up a little bit. So first, you're going to see that we have not one, but two rule books. Why is this? Because just like with Distilled, we believe very strongly in the idea of onboarding people in different ways. We have our main rule book, and I'll start with that. Our main rule book right now, as it stands, and it's not even done yet, is a chunky 30-pager, folks. 30 pages. Where's the number 30? There. 30 pages. Now, the reason for this is that, as you know, I am a visual person. I have a background in art. I believe very strongly in having lots of visual examples, lots of art throughout. So we've spared no expense with this. I'll kind of just flip through this. Of course, you've got your component list in the beginning when you open this up, a small letter as well on the left. And it dives into things like the setup, and we'll see some of this in a second. It shows the player setup as well. And then it starts to talk about kind of breaking down different parts. So the workbench board, the player workbench board that you have. All throughout, of course, things are scattered as far as different artwork throughout the rule book. You can see call-outs that have examples, game examples. So really excited, really happy with the beauty of this rule book. Lots of visuals, lots of gameplay examples. But again, this is a meatier game than Distilled. This rings in about a 3.5, 3.75 on BGG. So if you're someone that likes a crunchy Euro, crunchy game, this is probably going to be for you. So it goes on and on. It has, of course, some icon glossary type of stuff in the back showing what each card does and explains that too. There's some pages that are empty because you have to when you print, you have to have a certain number of pages, as you can imagine, and even basically it's a factor of 4. And then, sorry, on the back is just a quick guide, like we did with Distilled, sequence of the round, icon glossary, and a nice glossary to be able to look up key terms as well. We're not done, though. I'm hoping to be able to include either in this one or in the other rule book, I'm hoping to include history. I'm calling it Luthier lore. History about bios about every single historical character. We have over 40, actually almost over 50, I think. Yeah, over 50 historical characters in the game. Every single one historically accurate. Kevin's done an amazing job doing the research on that. And he's been writing bios. So we're going to have those in the book, either in this one or in the other one as well. So that's the first book. Let me put that aside. Here's the second book. Now, for those of you who remember, in Distilled, we had something called the First Taste. This walked you through the first round of the game. Well, we're back at it again, this time with the rehearsal. In the rehearsal, one person, who we call the conductor, will walk the table through the first round of the game, teaching them effectively almost the entire game, probably about 85 to 90% of the game. This rehearsal was designed by Richard Woods, again, kind of as a developer, but also doing some of the design work too here, where he's, again, laid it out so that you essentially narrate this. So lots of words, but I'm at the table. I'm running this game. I might be playing as one of the characters, and everybody else is listening to me, and I'm teaching them how to play the game, and they're playing. We found it to be really successful and a great way to be able to teach it. In the back of the rehearsal is also the solo rules. So we've got the solo rules completely done. David Digby and Richard Woods outdid themselves here. This essentially is obviously a beefier much beefier solo game than Distilled. And what this has is pitting you against a Luthier's guild in some other city. And there's different ones. And you are going to essentially be playing against them. And they've got their own deck. They've got their own board. It's a really, really tricky, fun game to play. I haven't gotten a chance to play it here yet. I've just played on TTS, but I can't wait to lay that out as well. And then one thing I'll just note quickly, because this is a hidden bidding worker placement game, for teaching a game for that first round, it's kind of tricky. So what we have is you have these kind of little secret cards that you know what chips to place, but I don't announce it in the teach. So again, that's some fun stuff here. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Stuart. Love the first round teach. It was so good and Distilled. Wish more games did it. Yeah, and Doc Chills, yeah, people liked it. PAX-U, really excited to be using this at UK Games Expo as well. So it's going to be a great time. Let's see. Dang asked, are the yellow boxes flavor text with some thematic infos about the game like you haven't Distilled? Yes, good question. Dang, let me find one. Yes, lots of flavor text. Let me find one here, or kind of fun facts, if you will. They're not yellow, but these framed pieces are fun facts that essentially are telling you why we made certain choices. And those are sprinkled throughout the game. So yeah, for sure, those are there too. Good question. Good question. Okay, let's keep going. All right, so once we've opened up the box to find those rules, again, I'm just going to kind of dive down from the top to the bottom here. You're, of course, going to have, and I'll open some of these up to have us take a closer look at this. You're, of course, going to have player aids that are going to allow you to have each player having their own player aid. Let me do this here. But then also, like I said, the first taste, each one has their own custom walkthrough for the first taste to tell them where to place chips and what to do. So we've got end game scoring here. We've got on the backside icon glossaries. We've got on the backside of these, we've got a sequence of a round to teach you about what happens over the course of a round. We've also got a solo kind of reference card too. So you have the book, but then you can also have this solo reference card that'll help you so you don't have to keep paging through the book all the time as well. So lots of really great reference cards. We'll put those off to the side here. So then what we have is each individual player colors bits. Now, this, of course, is going to be in the deluxe edition, is going to be in your own separate tray that you'll bring out and put next to you at the table. For other people, or for the standard game, we are going to do a retail version, a standard retail version of the game, because we want to make it so that other people can afford to still Luthier and play as well. We might not necessarily have that, but you'll still be able to kind of do something like this where you can individually bag them, which is totally fine as well. Let's just pull one of these out. You can see that we've got 4 player colors. We've got red, green, blue, and yellow, all checked for colorblind friendly as well, so vision friendly. I'm going to pull one out and kind of walk through it in general. I'll do green. Let's pull this aside really quick, and let me just dump this. So this game is a hidden bidding worker placement game, which essentially means that I'm going to send workers that are part of my Luthier family out across the board, which you'll see in a little bit. Those workers in this game are represented by tokens. Let's see if I can hold one up there. Kind of. I think it's going to be better here. Who knows? Yeah, there we go. These tokens. Now, this guild, this family has that emblem. Each family has a different crest. And on the back of the tokens represent your skill. If you are the head luthier of your family, whoever you might be, you are going to have a skill of 5. That's not going to be in focus. Oh, well. Come on. There we go. A skill of 5. But these go from 5 all the way down to 1. 1, maybe it represents your kid that started in your workshop yesterday. And you can see that there's lots of different tokens you can use. We also have some specialist tokens as well. Let me get these out here to show you. These can be unlocked if you focus on certain tracks throughout the game. And you'll be able to unlock those and get special powers with those. There's assistants that essentially are apprentices that you can hire that will essentially go out into the world and give you bonuses. So if I send a number 3 worker somewhere with an apprentice, it's a number 4. Or it's a 4. It's a 4 skill. Also here we've got our horse and whoops, it's upside down. Sorry about that. Horse and cart meeples. When you go to market, you'll need to take those with you. Now, each of these in the deluxe are going to be completely screen printed. So again, maybe I'll try it here too. That's terrible. I'm not going to do that one. All the deluxe is going to be screen printed wood. It kind of stained wood with a screen printing on it as well. So we're really excited about that. Some of these things, of course, will be because the worker placement aspect with the chips, you need that for the standard too. But some of these other pieces are just going to be cardboard punch outs as well for the standard. Just to show you really quick too, there's a lot of different player pieces. Actually, let me see if I can get all of them out here. I'm going to make a mess, but that's okay. This way I can show you one of each. Boom, 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 boom. Now the feet will be if I can get this lifted up and in focus. Come on. There we go. Oh, it's upside down kind of, but that's okay. You can you get the gist. Maybe I'll rotate. Boop. So these are the different tokens you're going to have access to. Each of them obviously doing different things with multiple versions of them. All, again, screen printed, double-sided, stained and screen printed. There we go. We see a trophy that marks awards you can have. I really need to have like a little tray I hold up. That would be smart. We see musical notes as well as hammers. Those mark repairs and performances. We see a little ribbon that marks your victory point tracker. The crest is your family crest doing different tracks. And then this guy right here demonstrates crafted instruments. So whenever I make an instrument, I get to place that in the orchestra pit, showing that I've made that instrument. So again, you can see here throughout, and I think I got them all, besides some cubes as well. You can see there's lots of pieces that you'll have that you'll be managing most of the time in your tray next to you. If you want, you don't have to. And so Stuart asks, have you got some fun ideas for the shape of the game trays? A bit like the barrel trays in this. Yes, I do, Stuart. So I'm working with Black Magic Inserts. Really excited about working with Bryce. Bryce, you used to work at Game Trays. I worked with him on Distilled, and now he's he owns and runs Black Magic Inserts. We're really excited about that. We've got some pretty cool ideas in store. I'm not going to say anything just yet because I don't know if we can have them get it done. But I'm going to try because I think I've seen it in like one other game before. So I'm really excited if we can pull off some of the things we've got in store. But yes, we'll definitely have some custom shapes. I'm thinking things like it could be a toolbox to represent your Luthier's box. It could be in the shape of certain instruments. So there's a lot of opportunities here for designing some pretty cool inserts as well. Okay, so I'm going to shove this out of the way because you kind of got a feel for those. And we can always pull them back. And again, remember, each player has their own color in that color. These colors are still developing. I mean, they're going to be this color, but they are. Some of these came off a little brighter than I wanted. I really want this game to feel like it was crafted, potentially crafted in this time period, using colors of this time period, feeling like it's truly authentic throughout the game whenever possible. So whenever possible, we're using wood. Speaking of whenever possible, we're using wood. Let's take a look at the dice. These are some of my favorite things. So the dice are for the deluxe, 20 millimeter wood dice, and they roll pretty cool. These dice you'll use when you perform. Let's see if I can hold those up. Really beautiful design by Matt Paquette and Company. Really big, chunky wooden dice that are stained and then silk screen printed on top. And you'll roll these. You'll roll the white ones to begin with, and then black if you get better at performing whenever you perform, hoping to roll the right roll. And then if you do well enough and unlock an award, you also could get this special purple die that allows you to get bonuses as well. So we're really excited about these dice as well. A really nice chunky dice to roll on the table. So you'll be able to see those in person at UK Games Expo and at Gen Con. So be sure to check that out. Oh my gosh, Doc Chills. Can't wait for the saxophone shaped tray. Get out of here, tequila sax man. All right. Let's be talking more about wood and cubes, cube-like structures. Let's take a look at our resources. These resources, I will tell you, are for sure still in development as far as the colors. And these are, of course, the ones that you would find in the base retail game and possibly the deluxe game. But we might have some other things in store for our deluxe friends also, or those that want to upgrade some of their components. So we've got our classic animal. I'm not going to bother taking. Well, actually, I will. No, I won't. I won't bother taking them out. You can kind of see them. Our animal. It's a little too yellow. That's for my taste. I didn't want straight white, just painted white, but I wanted something that felt a little bit like bone because it's supposed to reference bone, sinew, gut, leather, like stretched leather over a timpani. So this is our animal. This is the cheapest, or I guess you could say cheapest, most affordable resource in the game. Next up, we have wood. I wanted wood to look dyed and imperfect, which is kind of why you see that there in that way. It's looking really good. I'm pretty happy with the wood, but also I've got to figure this out because the metal is the hardest one of all. For the longest time, we had metal as black, and black's good, but I also wanted to kind of exude that idea of brass, of brass instruments, brass materials. And so what they came up with is going to work. Whoops, sorry, get over here. It's going to work, but it's a little too yellowy gold for me. Especially when, and Richard pointed this out when he got his copy right away, It's a little too yellowy gold, and maybe looks a little bit too much like the bone. So we're going to work on this. I'm really thinking, and I'd love to hear what you all think too, especially if you get the chance to play it in person. I'm thinking that this one the animal could be a little whiter as the bone. I actually think the wood could be maybe almost unstained, like a natural wood, perhaps. Obviously, it needs to be darker than the bone. And then this one, I want to have it look almost like I used to do bronze casting when I was a sculptor, and I want it to look like bronze before it's been polished, which is like a dark brown, but not brown wood brown. It's an interesting kind of muddled brown. So that would allow me to have that feel more like metal. And then what that does is each of these are in their raw state, which I think is what I could do to be able to kind of communicate that idea of a resource and have a nice range from lightest to darkest, which is kind of what I've been trying to do the whole time. So those are our resources. Okay. Cards. Holy cards. Lots of cards. Actually, you know what? Screw it. Let's not do cards. Let's do the boards, the beautiful boards. So these boards, dual layered boards for our deluxe friends. This is the board that will sit in front of you when you are playing the game. This is your workshop. This is where you rough out your instruments on your roughing bench on the left, and you finish your instruments on the right. It has spots to be able to that are dual layered depth spots to be able to put cubes here. It's got a place to put your luthier there as well. I'll try and put one in just a second to show you. So this will sit in front of you. And just like distilled, we spare no expense. Why would you have one board used for all four when you should have each one have it be unique in its own self? So I asked Vincent to do some special illustrations on every single board that stand out for that player and that color. So there's the yellow one. Here's the green one. Love that little head. And if anyone ever saw me put that in the Luthier Facebook group, I did a silly video about the Baroque spoon. That was Vincent putting the Baroque spoon in there. And then finally, this is blue. So you can see each one's got some little decorations. Really excited about this. Beautiful, beautiful boards. Now, but that's not all, folks, because on the back of the board is the solo board. So if you play as blue always, then you will use this one as a solo board. So you get to choose what the solo, the AI's board is. I won't go into great details about this. If you see us in person at one of the cons, we can walk you through the solo mode a little bit more. But like I said, it's a really great time, a really crunchy, tricky puzzle to go through. So really excited about seeing people get a chance to play this. Because we haven't done that as much beyond just a good solid group of playtesters on TTS. So those are the boards. So again, like I said, these are dual layer boards only for the deluxe though. The standard will not be dual layer. That's just for the deluxe, and that's just something you can get at the Kickstarter. So again, that's what's so awesome about all of you joining in here, following along. The Kickstarter is also going to be fairly reduced as well as far as the price compared to what you might be able to get it later at a con. So it'll be great for you to follow along there. Let's keep doing boards because those are fun. Then we'll go to cards. The next board I want to show is the resolution board. So, or as I like to call it, the resolution board. This is where you place workers face down or face up. Sorry. Oops, that's the wrong one. Well, that'll still work. And this is right now dual layered. We're going to play with the idea of it being dual layered for the deluxe. I think it works pretty well. It looks a little funky, but I think at the end of the day, it works. And that's really nice because then when you pass it around, look at that. They stay on there, right? So you're passing around the table. This is also the active player marker. So with this, whoever is the active player holds on to this. That's how you can see who is active, the active player. So that's the resolution board. Here's our scoreboard, no pun intended, truly, because it is a scoreboard, but it also is a scoreboard. So this is, again, just a standard scoreboard. What you'll find here is we did decide to do two different sizes just for kicks now. We might just scrap one of them. This is your classic typewriter, which is how I do scoring, and I think 99% of the population does. But we've got some people that love the snake for some reason, so we put snake on the back for all y'all crazy snakies. So if you like to snake your score, then we've got that for you. So up to you how you want to do that. But again, really great scoreboard by Vincent here. Okay. I'm not going to, I won't bother punching all of this out, but I'm going to show you some of the punch boards. Yes, the things do come in punch. And so it's an opportunity for us to kind of review that before we take it to full production. I'll punch one of these out just so you can see. These are our awards. They sit at the top of the building, which I'll show you in a bit on the main board, that show these are awards all the players are vying for publicly, all trying to get. So in this case, let me get this closer. In this case, this one represents the number of Baroque patrons you've completed. So that icon is Baroque, and that darker icon is the patron card, showing how many Baroque patrons you've completed. 1, 2, or 3, and how many points you get. And some other cool stuff happen with the awards that we can talk about later. But these sit at the top, and these truly are cupolas that sit on the top of the building. As you know, when I like to design things, I like to have an intention for every single thing we design, visually, graphically, graphic design, theme. And so we really tried to do that here with this too. Really quick, these pieces, I'll punch 2 just so you can kind of see them. These pieces are inspiration in the game. Now, inspiration is kind of think of it as a wild currency. It acts as a type of currency or a type of resource often throughout the game in different ways. And you can gain inspiration, you can spend inspiration. Really, we were really excited when we came up with this concept. It seems to work really well. These, of course, are just cardboard punch-outs, but there might be potential for deluxe upgrades in the Kickstarter if you so choose. We'll see. So these are inspiration. Last but not least, let's choose Walter for this. Here's an example of our Luthiers. So our Luthiers are 8 different Luthiers, all throughout history, that are portraits painted by Vincent. And we can see here, there's a little bit of history. Mainly, there's some setup. And so when you, let me pull this out for a second. When you start a game, you get 2 of these dealt to you, and you choose one. And once you do, you follow the setup on the back that gives you a little bit of a nudge. And then you place your Luthier right here as in your family portrait for the rest of the game. So just a visually pleasing kind of reminder of who you are cosplaying as, essentially, as the Luthier. In this case, this is Anton Walter. Anton Walter was all about the piano. I'll just read this. Walter was one of the most famous Viennese piano makers of his time. Mozart owned a Walter piano, and it still exists today. So tells the birth date, the death date, and a little bit of fact. So you know who you're playing with as well. Like I said, there's 8 of those. Now, here's a good example of what you're going to find in this edition. Placeholder art. Since Vincent's still working on some of this, some of the things, and they'll be clear when they do, say placeholder on them. So we wanted to make sure that that was clear, that things are still being developed even as we speak, as we make this. Okay. Yeah, I think I saw Doc Chills talking about this. So I'll move this out of the way here quickly. So here's another board really quick. This is the market that exists at the bottom of the main game board that you can go to once per round. And this is the round tracker dome that goes at the top of the game board. As you can see, a dome that matches those cupolas quite well. Where'd those cupolas go? Where'd you go? I'll put another one out. Get out of here. Yeah, so again, imagine these cupolas being on either side of the dome as well. Same thing for some people that like to kind of snake around versus other people that like to typewriter it up. We've done both ways for your preference for a round tracker. Or for the rounds. Now, as you know, with Pavers and Games, thank you, Kevin. Kevin, everybody. Dr. Kevin, he is our musicologist. Walter, Anton Walter. He is the one that's done all the research, all the bio work for us as well. Now, as you know, I like to do little touches. Sometimes it costs me money, and it's for just purely fun. Well, the next things are for you, for those people. When you do the rehearsal, we have found that the person running the rehearsal, the conductor, is reaching across the table all the time, trying to point to certain things, because I'll tell you, it's a big board. You're going to see that in a second. So every conductor needs a baton, right? So in the game will be shipped a cardboard baton that is no reason, has no purpose except for you as the conductor to point while you're teaching your game. And I actually do think that I'll probably do something on one side that will be like the winner of the game poses, right? Like one of those with the baton as well. So that's an opportunity for that too as the conductor. But don't worry, losers. You know who you are that oftentimes lose your game over and over again. What better way to celebrate your loss than playing the world's tiniest violin? That's right, people. I'm going to put this in the Punchboard so that you can celebrate the loss with the world's tiniest violin and play that for the table, and everyone hopefully will cheer for you. So some fun little inserts that we've done as well into the game. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to wait on the cards because I'm going to get the board out, but I'm going to have to move everything here for the board because it's big. Just going to move this aside. This aside. This should do it. Okay, so the board is quite big. This is a table hog. I am not going to. No, there's no ifs about it. I hope you have a decent sized table. Oh, I forgot to show you this one thing too. So real quick. Here's one more punch board. Remember I said the wooden pieces for the deluxe? Well, for those that don't have deluxe, they'll have punch outs. And here's, of course, some coins as well that will come with it as well. And again, as Paverson Style does, we will probably be looking at some custom metal coins as well. Okay, let me get this back in there. Whoops, nope, this way. Okay, so the main board. The main board is double-sided. It has two sides. One side is for solo and 2-player play, and the other side is for 3- and 4-player play. So I will just unfold. Well, I'll unfold whatever side it unfolds. Okay. So it might not look that big on the table, but again, you can kind of see my hands. And plus, let's see if I can get the other things here too. You would be putting this down. You would be putting this down. You would be putting, where are you, cupolas? Where'd you go? Oh, there. You'd be putting a couple of these down. I'll do all 4 for the full effect. So you could shuffle them up so you don't know what they are. You'd be putting those down. Let's move these off to the side. Okay. And then let me get this straight for you all at home. These here. This here. Yeah, that's pretty good. There. Doesn't look straight to me, but it looks straight on the TV. And then, of course, at the start of the game, once you've shuffled those and dealt them out, you can reveal these so you know what awards you're going for. And this is the board. I know it looks a little kind of wonk-sided, but that's because it's I've got my camera angled, so sorry about that. But essentially what you have here, and I'll try and pull some of this up and show it to you a little closer, is you have 4 different regions where you're going to have cards. That's why it's so big. It holds lots of cards, just like Distilled had lots of cards on the main part of the table. And then the orchestra pits in the center. So you've got things like, let's see here. I'm scared to pull it. Well, yeah, I can do it. You've got things like the salon. The salon is where you go to attract new patrons, gather new patrons. You can see the patrons there and enjoying the artwork. You've got, it's hard for me to get down. I don't want to knock the thing over. You've got places to perform on the bottom. Over on this side, you've got the Luthier's Guild where you can go and get new plans, instrument plans. And then down at the bottom, sorry, everybody, I'm turning it. You've got your repair shop. At the very top, you've got the balcony where you can go with the elite to grow in your reputation. And then last but definitely not least, sorry, I don't want to knock my tripod over, is your orchestra, where you're going to be placing all of your crafted instruments, your repairs, your performances into that, vying for points at the end of the game. So what will happen is you'll have a stack of cards that will be representing the patrons, for instance, and they will be dished out here. Oh, actually, I'm on the 1 to 2 side. Okay, good. I'm on the 1 to 2 player side. I thought it was on the 3 to 4. These will be dished out for people to be able to go to this location with their workers and reveal them. So let's say red and green went here, and red had a 3 and green had a 2. That means red would get their pick first because they had a higher number than green. And that's the name of the game with Luthier. And they might decide to choose Paganini as their patron. When they choose Paganini as their patron, they bring Paganini back to, see if I can get this right, back to their workshop, where Paganini will start to bestow them with gifts, but also his patience will wane over the time. And you need to be making what he wants, because he wants a stringed instrument. You need to be making an instrument for Paganini before he gets too fed up and frustrated with you and leaves. And once you do make that instrument for Paganini, you get to tuck him behind your board. And for the rest of the game, he's going to give you a bonus. And in this case, the bonus is going to be at the start of the round, you're going to get 2 inspiration. And I did that because of the fact that I completed Paganini's requirement, which was a stringed instrument. So in Luthier, you are going to be going to the salon to gather patrons. You're going to be going to the guild to gather instruments. Just a second. I want to get those out. Same thing. They'll be set up here and laid out as well. The instruments all have different requirements for animal, wood, and metal. Let's see if I can get close and pop that. There we go. Where you're going to try and rough out the instrument with different materials and finish it with different materials. Once you do finish that instrument, then you get to place it, that crafted instrument of your token, in the orchestra. So in the case of the forte piano, which is what this instrument is, there's a forte piano location. I'm not going to pick the board up to show you, but that says forte piano. I place it there, and I now claim first chair forte piano for the rest of the game. That's going to give me points at the end of the game. So again, really, really a neat kind of process there. I'm making that forte piano hopefully for a patron. I'm getting points from them. I'm getting points from the forte piano when I make it. I'm placing something in the orchestra. So you're doing multiple things at once. Lots of chain reactions of different mechanics that are happening at once. Quickly, the other 2 places I can go, if I can get the cards up. Where'd you go, repairs? Well, that's weird. I don't know where my repairs went. Did they fall on the floor? No. Well, I don't know. We're not repairing tonight, people. I don't know where the repairs went. I better check that. I could go to the performance hall. Again, same thing. I could choose to conduct a performance or perform a performance. When I do that, I'm trying to fulfill certain requirements of that performance, and I'm going to do that by rolling dice. So the beauty of Luthier is you don't have to go here. I know players that never go to this place all game because they don't want any luck in their darn game. And that's totally fine. I, on the other hand, am there all the time. I'm like at the craps table rolling those dice. So what this means is I'm going to go. If I go with my number 3, I've already got a skill of 3 to start out. Then let's just try it. I'm going to roll the dice. Let's see if we can pull this up here. And I take the 3 skill I have plus 3 there, and I see what I've done. Oh, look, I've got that middle tier, which allows me to get some money, lets me place a performance token in the orchestra as well, which again is a token in your color that you get to place in a certain location of your choice in the orchestra. So you're constantly thinking about how you can make your mark on the orchestra. Fill that with it, because there really is a little bit of area control in the game in Luthier. Because at the end of the game, you get more and more points for the number of first chairs that you have. So yes, and you definitely get paid at the performance section for sure. There's always money to be had at the performance section, as you can see. Sugar Circuit asked this. Let's see if I can pop that in. Come on, pop, there, pop. So you can see there's always money associated with performing, of course. Repairing, again, I don't know what the heck happened to my repairs. I'll have to look for those later. Repairing is very similar in the sense that you are immediately repairing something, and then you get to place that repair token that I was showing you earlier, that hammer, in the orchestra as well. There's also 3 tracks. These tracks, these purple banners, as well as the kind of row of banners across the top, are 3 different tracks you can climb in the game. You can choose to enhance your performing skills. You could choose to enhance your, you can also choose to enhance your crafting skills. So being better at crafting an instrument. Because again, where'd that guy go? Oh, here. First, the forte piano starts out on this side of the roughened bench. I pay the resources, and then it moves to this side to finish it. And then I hopefully have given it to a patron, and I place it into the orchestra. So the crafting track allows you to really build your skills there. And then this is your reputation throughout the game, being able to unlock more and more bonuses. There's lots more I could go over, but I'll just show you really quickly things like goals. Let's see if I can hold this up. Private goals that you can get at the start of the game. Come on, pop for me, pop. I'll open one up. The private goals essentially are kind of standard, what you expect in a game. Nothing kind of too new and brilliant there. I don't know why it's not working. Come on, people. There it is. Oops, I got it wrong there. Where you get these dealt at the beginning and try and achieve it. This one says number of crafted winds instruments that you have at the end of the game. There's the market, which is a fluctuating market of different prices for the different resources, and that'll change every round. There's specialists that when you go up those tracks and you get some of those special tokens like this, I've unlocked if I'm performing. I can then unlock, unlock certain cards that give me bonuses as well that I get. And then last but not least, just to show you some of the solo stuff. If you're playing 2-player, you have a choice of either playing just the two of you and that's it, kind of a little more, not casual, but not as like cutthroat game because there's a little bit more open space on the board. Or you could pre-fill, and you'll pre-fill the orchestra. Oops. Oh, man, I'm forgetting every time. Pre-fill the orchestra where it tells you to fill the orchestra a little bit. So there's already things in there that you can't get and you have to vie for. But then you could also run the AI. Where did I put those cards? Oh, there. You could run the AI as well. If you want to kind of simulate that idea of a third player playing, it's a little bit more cutthroat across the board. You could also do that where you choose a certain guild. And this is obviously how you play the AI game as well. There we go. No, there we go. It's really hard to do this opposite. That tells you certain things. This one's from Viennese Guild, I think. No, the Venice Guild. And then the AI cards are essentially a series of different actions it's going to tell you to do to go through this deck, allowing you to place their workers, AI's workers, out on the board without you knowing what they are. So really kind of cool feature there, designed by Richard and David Digby. So with that, I think I'm going to wrap it up. I think I've been going pretty long, almost an hour at this point. If anyone does have any questions and they want to place them in the chat, they can. Oh, here's one. Stuart asked, are you thinking about a neoprene rubber mat option for the main board as an extra add-on? Maybe. Maybe it's going to be the biggest neoprene mat you've ever seen. But maybe. Especially since, you know, I'm no stranger to the fact that when you have cards on a board, sometimes it's kind of hard to pick up. We've designed it in a way that you'll always be able to slide it off the board and pick it up without kind of knocking something over, which is good. But still, that would be nice to have that neoprene mat for sure. So that's something we are definitely looking at as well. So yeah, that's Luthier in a nutshell. I've got a lot to clean up here. But again, as you can imagine, that's why this box is so big, is that we are hoping to pack this thing full of some really cool stuff, as well as the trays take up a lot of room. And we've got a lot of surprises for you as well in store. So I'll be kind of keeping you up to date on that. We'll do another Whiskey Wednesday next month. Don't forget that I will be at UK Games Expo this year. Just like last year, we'll be showing off Luthier. You can play. You can sign up if you show up at the booth early and play and reserve a slot later that day. We'll be at Gen Con. The Kickstarter launches July 16th and will be on during Gen Con. So I don't know what I'm thinking there. So that'll be a neat opportunity to be able to see that. We sold out of all our Luthier games. We had a couple hundred seats of Luthier and they all sold out within the first hour. But That doesn't mean I won't have it up at my little booth in the back. I'm in the way back. You can come back and meet me back there. I'll also be at Essen. So for my first time ever, I'm going to be going to Essen. So if you're someone that is over in the EU and might potentially find yourself going to Essen this year, do know that I'll be there as well for my first time. Obviously, that's all the way in October. So what that means is we'll have pretty final looking copies of Luthier for you to be able to play and see there too. All right, with that, I'm going to say Slàinte and have a good night. All the ice in my whiskey water melted, so I'm going to have some watery whiskey now. I was talking too fast, too long. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Slàinte to all of you. Be sure to say hi if I see you in person or join us soon online. And everybody have a wonderful night. See y'all later.